you join the service?
August 1940.
August 1940. And you enlisted or were conscripted?
I enlisted. See, that was before the war started.
In what outfit?
I went to the 2nd Armored Division, the Hell on Wheels Division, commanded by General George S. Patton, Jr. at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Why'd you choose the Army?
I didn't know anything else.
All right.
Pause for one quick second. You know, I'm going to take your name tag off. Sorry.
So tell me, I heard that you went to Hawaii after Pearl Harbor. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, we were at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Our entire regiment of about 3,500 people were sent by troop train, in those days they called them, on our way to the Philippines. But we didn't go to the Philippines simply because the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor on the 7th of December, and that was the day before we were supposed to sail for the Philippines. We unloaded our personal equipment off the ship, and then we were sent to Hawaii to guard against the invasion of the islands of Hawaii. We spent our first 6 months there in pup tents and in foxholes on a hill overlooking Kaina Point. You can look on the map and you'll find Kaina Point. That would have been the place that an enemy might have invaded, at Kaina Point.
How'd you feel about Pearl Harbor when you heard about it? Did you expect the Japanese attack?
Well, I was just a young 18-year-old boy then, and I was a soldier. I would have done anything that our leaders told me to do as a soldier. Of course, in those days, I hated the Japanese because they had done us real damage. I mean, they crippled our Navy in the Pacific. And I didn't like the Japanese at that time.
Where did they send you after Hawaii?
I was offered the opportunity of going to officer training school at Fort Benning, Georgia. And after 18 months in the Hawaiian Islands, I went to Fort Benning, went to school there, and graduated in the top 10 of 212 that graduated, and became a brand new second lieutenant.
So then did you receive a command right away?
No, I did not receive it. I wasn't qualified to command anything at that time, but I chose to go into the OSS, which was the forerunner of the CIA, and in Washington, D.C. We were training at the Congressional Country Club, a high on the hill place to be training.
What was your job?
My job was to train as a spy. Had I stayed with that outfit, we would have, as individuals, we would have been sent into some foreign country.
Were they training you in foreign language?
I didn't stay long enough to do that. I had been trained up until that time to be a combat infantryman soldier. That's what I wanted to do, and I asked to be relieved of the duties in the OSS, and I was sent back to an infantry division at Camp Van Dorn, Mississippi. That place, Camp Van Dorn, does not exist anymore, but it's located near the little town of Centerville, Mississippi, about 5 miles or 50 miles northeast of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Was that still with the 2nd Division?
That was with the 63rd Infantry Division.
Which, was that a new unit at the time? Was that a new unit?
It was a new unit being trained for combat.
When were you deployed?
I did not deploy out of there with a unit. I was sent out of that division as a replacement officer and sent to England. Of course, at that time they were getting ready for the invasion of France. And I was in a replacement center in England when the invasion came upon us.
Did they tell you you were going to be sent to France?
They did not come out and say, you're going to France, but we all knew I was not the only replacement man there. We all knew we would be going to France.
How long after the invasion did they send you?
Because of an injury to a finger with a wet softball, it delayed my going into combat by about a little over a month. I went into France on July the 10th, 1944.
Where were you sent specifically?
That was to the 39th Infantry Regiment of the 9th Infantry Division. I was in Company M. My brother, up until the 10th of July, was in Company D of the 39th Infantry Regiment, but he was wounded badly that day. I did not get to see him. He was sent back eventually to the States for recuperation. But I joined my unit and combat on July the 10th.
Did you participate in the breakout?
Yes, we really had the Germans on the run. Now at that time, the Germans were bad people because they were shooting at us. And we didn't start the war; someone else started it. So, but we, I mean, we were a fighting machine. You folks are young. Don't let anyone kid you. The American fighting forces of World War II would have defeated anyone in the world. No question in my mind about that. And we really had the Germans on the run after St. Lo. We hardly stopped. I mean, combat didn't stop us. So we had destroyed so many of them, they just didn't have many people to fight us. And of course we had a wide front. As I recall, we had 3 armies there, and each army has 3 or 4 infantry divisions, and we were spread out across much of France. And of course the Germans, they had a good fighting force also, but they couldn't stand up to us.